Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this special session at the Arab Media Summit. Today's conversation is titled Building Regional Narratives and Scaling Global Media in the Middle East, and it's one that could not be more timely or relevant. As global media brands seek to localize meaningfully and authentically, the Middle East is no longer just a market. It's a source of creative, cultural, and commercial influence. Our guest today has been at the forefront of this transformation. I'm very pleased to be joined by someone who's playing a key role in shaping that conversation, Mr. Thomas Khoury, Managing Director of Condi Nast Middle East.
Good morning to you, and thank you for hosting me. Such a pleasure.
So Thomas has spent over 20 years in media, commercial strategy, and leadership across the region. He's worked with some of the most influential names in the business, from Bloomberg to Sky News Arabia to SRMG. Today he leads some of the world's most iconic media brands, from Vogue, GQ, Architectural Digest, and Condé Nast, reimagined through a regional lens. Today we'll explore how global media brands can scale in the Middle East while maintaining cultural integrity, the role of leadership in shaping content that resonates, and what it takes to build a brand that reflects the local talent, the media complexity, and the local identity of this region. So Thomas, thank you for being with us, and let's dive in. So I'm going to start off by asking, so building and localizing a global media legacy is such a responsibility, with titles like Condé Nast, Vogue, Architectural Digest already comes with a powerful global identity. How do you navigate maintaining that identity while making it feel real and relevant to this region?
Thank you for the question. So this is the main purpose why Condé Nast decided to come and establish base in the Middle East. As many of you know, we have global brands like you mentioned, Vogue, Vanity Fair, GQ, Condé Nast Traveler, AD, and those brands have been part of the Middle East for a long time. We have been covering this part of the world and the beautiful culture and the beautiful people, but we believe at this stage it's so important for us to establish base, and for a simple reason. The Middle East is a very particular kind of geography in the world. It has the youngest population in the world. Almost 60% of the population are less than 26 years of age. So that's the potential, right? And we believe that the audience is already consuming our content, the global content. However, we need to be more relevant to them. How do you become relevant? You come establish base and you start creating content for the region, from the region, and to the world. So the content that we create now is almost 80% created from the region, and it's being kind of disseminated around the Middle East and shipped globally. If you don't do that, you stay irrelevant, right? It has to resonate. So, yeah.
You answered my next question. I wanted to ask, because we're seeing a new wave of Arab talent coming into design, media, fashion, and they're becoming so relevant globally. How do you view the role of platforms like Condé Nast in amplifying these roles, and how do you manage to make it feel authentic and not performative when you get these local talents?
Right. So the young generation in this part of the world are so smart and they're so connected, especially when you talk about Gen Z and Gen Alpha now, right? And so let's go back a bit to the basic. So Condé Nast is committed to this part of the world and to creating high quality journalism and content that not only resonates but that leads culture, prioritizes local storytelling and connects with the audience of this part of the world that is really influential. So talking about that, there's so much potential. I'm talking about the whole Middle East. If you think about it, think about the Levant area, the North African area, and the Gulf area. There is so much to tell. There are so many stories to talk about. So our job simply is to provide the platform, right, and amplify those voices, not only in this part of the world, but most importantly globally. And that's the time. That's the time for us in the Middle East, right? So that's the mandate.
I have to say, I love the feeling of holding a magazine in my hands. And I've told you that when I first met you. I'm still a huge fan of magazines, books. I'm not so digitally intelligent as people my age. But we're also living in a time where content travels in real time. And people like to consume it instantly and fast. So how has Condé Nast navigated that shift from print to digital in this region? How do you balance both of those worlds?
Right. So this has been an interesting one, and that's a journey. As some of you know, Condé Nast is a century-old company. It's a 116-year-old company, and it has kind of moved throughout the decades in a way to stay relevant to its audience. So it all starts with the content, right? The content is the most important element, and it has to be authentic, it has to be original, it has to be different, and most importantly, it has to resonate. How we distribute the content becomes the platform, and that changes through time, right? So we used to be the luxury magazine publishers of the world, but in 2019, with the new leadership, there has been a complete shift that started with our global enterprises, where we have centralized the content production, and now we focus on having newsrooms that are digitally, driven. So the content remains the same. However, the dissemination of the content changes. Now we still print and distribute magazines, but they are like special distribution that goes, to specific places. We don't do it like the way we used to do before. But why is that? Especially in this part of the world. So I was just mentioning earlier that how young the Middle East audience are. But above that and beyond that, they are, they consume content mobile first, social first, and video first. So if you don't provide the content through those platforms, you become, again, irrelevant. So that's the focus for us, right? So how fast we can deliver the content, whether snackable through their mobiles or, whether the websites that we have, plus a focus on the magazine that is very specific and it has a different angle to it. Yeah.
I get you. I think it's very important to know that there is a different language when it comes to digital kind of format and the print. People consume it so differently, and people that consume digital are not going to consume it the same way that they would in print. And I have to ask, why did Condé Nast choose Dubai as its first regional office in the Middle East? What made the city the right fit for you guys?
So, look, it's no secret for anybody. Dubai is the metropolis of the Middle East. It hosts 200 plus nationalities, and it's a young, vibrant, multicultural, digital society that embraces values that are similar to ours, like inclusion, diversity, openness, and above all, creativity. So here you have it.
Perfect match.
It's a perfect blend for us. So yeah.
When I first met you, I told me that you're employee number one. So you've managed not just to build a brand, but you also built a whole team and a culture coming with it. What's been your personal leadership journey throughout this, leadership philosophy throughout this journey, and how do you apply it in your everyday?
Right. So, I was employee number one, but I didn't do it on my own, right? And it's all about, I believe in a mantra that it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, and it's all about the people and the talent you have on boards. And we always strive to hire talent that are smarter than us, who help us, drive forward. But as a person who just kick-started the business here, my principles are openness, leading with empathy, having a very clear vision and communication to the team. That's so important, because if the team does not have an understanding of the vision of the company, they wouldn't know what to deliver on. Having a hustler mentality, you have to push. And above all, ethics and high standards, because we are in a culture where it's it's different than the West, and you know, family ties and the cultural element is so important. The ethics are so important for the business as well.
I love that, and it shows authentically how you are, because you are an Arab yourself. You know what I mean? It's not performative in that sense. And finally, since we're at the Youth Media Forum, I have to ask, we have so many young creatives here today that wish to become storytellers and content creators in global media brands or starting a platform of their own. What's your advice to those people and that want to do it in a way that's both impactful and true to who they are?
All right. So I would say these are like challenging times. In which sense? The exposure, the amount of exposure that the youth are, you know, getting every day, it's a bit daunting. So my advice would be, as much as they can, not to follow fads or trends. Let them be true to themselves. If they believe that they have a problem to a solution or a space where they can differentiate, they will avail. The consumer, the Arab consumer, is so educated, is much more exposed than we think. We underestimate the Arab consumer, and they love novelties. So anything new, anything different, they should focus on. Let them not imitate a lot, and if they can, it's always good to start with the connection or with the support of an educational institution. You know, in the UAE, there are a lot of governmental and semi-governmental entities that are supporting the youth. So if they can start there, doing some internships, starting with the global companies, publishers, broadcasters, media companies. We are one of them, right? We're not the only one.
Yeah.
So they can build the foundation, be a bit patient, and then when they find their footing, they can take it from there. It's not rocket science, right? They just have to have something a bit different, and they be passionate about what they do, right?
They have to just have a story to tell, and I think that's the most important thing. Thank you so much for your time. This was super, super engaging, and
thank you.
It's been a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for attending, and have a good day.
Thank you.